Today, I'm going to talk about nouns and pronouns in Chinese. Nouns in Chinese generally have one or two syllables. A few have three syllables, but four-syllable nouns are quite rare. Most of them are idioms. By the way, I will create a video that teaches you the most common idioms we use. If you have interest in it, just let me know. As I mentioned earlier, nouns in Chinese generally have one or two syllables, each syllable being represented by a written character. Two-syllable nouns are the most common. There are many two-syllable nouns that have the same characters, which is why some of the two-syllable nouns have a similar meaning. For example, 门铃门铃门帘门帘门锁门锁门 means door 水杯水杯水壶水壶茶水茶水水 means water. There are some features of nouns in Chinese. First, nouns do not change for number. A noun can be both singular or plural. For example, 手 could indicate a hand or hands. 笔 could indicate a pen or pens. 书 a book, books. At this point, there is a plural suffix, 们. 们 always follow human's noun but not non-human's nouns. Let's see the example. 老师 a teacher or teachers. 老师们 teachers. 同学 a classmate or classmates. 同学们 classmate. 你 you. 你们 you guys. 狗 a dog. 狗们 no, it's wrong. We cannot say 狗们. And 书 can you say 书们? No, it's wrong. The distinction is usually indicated by context or more obviously by the use of numbers. However, 们 cannot be used with a number. For example, 两个学生两个学生们 no, it's wrong. Apart from the suffix 们, I would like to briefly mention other monosyllabic suffixes in Chinese. Some monosyllables take suffix such as 子 which is pronounced with a neutral tone. In general, it doesn't have a specific meaning but signifies that the word is a noun. For example, 孩子杯子椅子 and 胖子. Other suffix often heard in northern China is 儿 which can also be used to indicate a noun, such as 鸟儿花儿公园儿饭馆儿歌。There are other monosyllabic suffixes that have more specific meaning. For example, 员 indicates a person with specific skills or duties, as seen in 服务员运动员消防员。者 indicates a person concerned with an activity. For example, 记者学者 and 科学工作者。家 indicates a specialist, acts as 作家科学家美食家。Now, let's move on to the second features of Chinese nouns. When you describe the quantity of a noun, you can add a quantity phrase before the noun. Quantity phrases are made by numbers and measure words. Measure words is the unique element in Chinese compared to English. Nouns in English can be divided into countables and uncountables, but they can be used directly with numbers. But in Chinese, nouns require a measure word after the number. In other words, a measure word must be placed between a demonstrative and a noun. For instance, 一个人 人 is a countable noun. 两本书 书 is also a countable noun. 三块面包 3 pieces of bread. Bread is an uncountable noun. Most measure words are specific to particular nouns, but one you should know is 个. 个 is by far the commonest measure word. For example, 一个人 一个月 一个枕头 一个姐姐 一个想法 一个影响 In addition to 个 there is a wide range of commonly used measure words. I will teach you more about measure words in the future. If you want to learn more about it, don't forget to follow my channel. Let's move on. The third feature is that adjectives or other qualifying elements come before the nouns they qualify. If the qualifier is monosyllable, it is usually placed directly before the noun. If the qualifier is 2 or more syllables, the particle 的 will come after the qualifier and before the noun. For example, 绿树 红花 长裤 短裤 美丽的国家 高大的树 红色的花 短短的裙子 Now let's talk about one kind of nouns. It's proper nouns. Proper nouns are names of people, places, institutions, etc. Contrary to English practice, the names of individuals in Chinese are in the order of first surname, which is usually one syllable, and then chosen name, which can be either 1 or 2 syllables. Therefore, a total of 3 syllables in Chinese name is the most common. There is a book in China called The 100 Surnames, which is a book of surnames passed down in Chinese folklore, featuring many Chinese surnames. The most common surnames in China include Wang, Li, Zhang, Liu, Cheng, Yang, Zhao, etc. These surnames have a wide population distribution and represent a portion of the Chinese population. When addressing people in Chinese, we typically use the patterns of surnames plus 先生 or 女士. This is the opposite order compared to English. For example, my surname is Wang, so you can address me as 王女士 or 王小姐. The third name go first. The differences between 女士 and 小姐 is that 女士 is a common way to address female, regardless of whether she is married or unmarried, while 小姐 is specifically for addressing unmarried females. It is important to note that in Chinese, people are often addressed by their occupational titles more frequently than in English. It is very normal to address someone as 王经理 王总 王老师 or 王校长. In Chinese, the sequences of wording in postal adjustment is opposite to English. The largest entity comes first, followed by smaller entities. For example, 中国北京市朝阳区镇街道号. Remember, the principle of larger entities coming before smaller entity is applied in various aspects in Chinese. For example, when stating a day and time, the order is year, month, day, and time. For instance, 现在是2023年10月1日早上10点30分. In addition to nouns, there are pronouns in Chinese. We have personal pronouns such as 我、你、他。These pronouns can be followed by a plural suffix 们, resulting in 我们、你们、他们、and 他们. There is another personal pronoun widely used in Chinese, which is 您. It is a polite form of 你. For example, 你好. The polite version of it is 您好. It's worth noting that there is no corresponding polite form for the second person plural. 您们 is wrong. In Chinese, there are two demonstrative pronouns 这 and 那. For example, 这是我的书，那是我的爸爸. Finally, let's discuss the last part. I would like to talk about nouns and conjunctions. In Chinese, two or more nouns can be joined together using conjunctions, such as 和 and 或. For example, 我和你，今天和明天. Additionally, there are other words in Chinese that can be used to mean and in a similar way to 和. These words include 跟、同 and 与。For example, 我跟你，今天同明天，运动与健康. It's worth noting that 与 is considered more formal. Please pay attention to the fact that the conjunction 和、或、跟、同、与 can only used to join words, not clauses. Therefore, we cannot say phrases like 我星期一上班和星期二上班. No, it's wrong. The correct way to express this would be 我星期一和星期二上班. That's all for today. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me in the comments area. I will continue to create new videos about Chinese grammar. So don't forget to follow me. See you next time.